I come once again to deliver a message, for this instrument is in a good condition to bring such a message forth. The subject of this message is the issue of reincarnation, one which is what you call a hot topic in your spiritual circles, and in the many and diverse spiritual understandings of your day. As you well know, we do not subscribe to this belief that for the individual to progress spiritually they must return to earth, time and time again in order to accomplish deep spiritual growth and light. It maintains that this earth plane is the great university of the soul, and it requires numerous incarnations in order for what is called nirvana to be accomplished. So many believe that the events of their life have been brought about by what is called karma, which requires certain lessons to be learned in life. In some ways, this restricts the individual's experiences in life and brings great bias to their understanding of these experiences and the integration of the lessons that are learned in the material life. Many rationalizations and ideas as to the meaning of life are born from this one doctrine. It does indeed direct the thinking of the individual in such a way that it limits this understanding and rationalizes many unfortunate events in one's life that apparently have been brought about by previous expressions within another body at another time. This creates a somewhat simplistic view of the events in one's life. When some analysis of these views takes place, there are deep flaws to be seen within it. One may take, for example, the plight of those who are desperately poor and those who are extremely rich. With the logic of karma, would it not seem that the desperately poor are punished for previous infractions and dark expressions within their past life, while those who are extremely rich benefit from a life that has been well lived before this incarnation? Yet often, those who are desperately poor have a greater light about them, within their souls, than those who are extremely rich. In fact, it is more often the case that greater happiness and spirituality comes in the simplistic life of the impoverished person, though they do suffer. Indeed, many lessons come with this suffering, but also a deep compassion for others and a deep desire to assist their brothers and sisters in their desperate plight. While the rich man looks upon the poor as deserving their fate, and many do not make one iota of effort to uplift their brothers and sisters in these conditions. I know that there would be many who would listen to this example and give detailed explanation as to why these conditions exist and further make effort to rationalize their perspective. It saddens me that there is a deep rift between those who believe in the doctrine of reincarnation and those who do not. For is not the purpose of life, no matter which perspective and philosophy is taken, to gain in spirituality and light and progression, and that the moment of now is more important than the idea of why and how one came to this moment? Rather, I urge all to seize the day. In whatever form and way and journey that they are upon, that they will progress further along their path through love and harmony. I have come to speak of the soul on many occasions. In many ways, the doctrine of reincarnation speaks to the mind and the attitudes and logical deductions, which come from mindful considerations. Yet, the mind, as I have said many times, is limited in its perspective and capacity for spiritual growth, where the soul frees the individual and allows him to walk a path of unlimited progression. Even if the doctrine of reincarnation existed upon your earth, the truth of the liberation and awakening of the soul through divine love would counteract and nullify this contract of the soul for continuous incarnation into the world, for if a soul is liberated and cleansed of its inharmonious conditions, incrustations as we call it, then there is no need for this process of returning to earth in order to learn its lessons. Rather, the simple truth, as has been seen and witnessed by many in the spirit world and in the celestial heavens, and it is that the individual incarnates only once into this material world, a world that has a great potential to assist the individual in spiritual learning and growth, but is not the only avenue for such growth to take place. There are many opportunities within the world of spirit which, as I have explained, is divided into 6 spheres of spiritual reality. One may continue to learn and grow within these spheres of experience and interaction with what is essentially the continuation of life. Though they do not have the experience of material bodies as such, they still possess a soul and a mind and a spirit body, which allows them to experience the quality of life that is available in the spirit world. The spirit world is not a waiting room for the next incarnation of the individual. Rather, it is a true form of life that will allow the individual to grow and evolve spiritually, mentally into greater light, truth and harmony. Therefore, the doctrine of reincarnation is not a viable truth that has been proven evidentially by those who preach this doctrine. Yes, there are many stories of individuals, even children, who have distinct memories of places and experiences in the material world, and this is put forth as an example and proof to the existence of this doctrine. Yet, there are many other explanations for this experience, certainly within children who are open vessels, receivers and transmitters of much information, both in the material plane and in the spirit world. Some are very mediumistic and receive the influence and thoughts of spirits that are around them. That connection may be forged with a spirit that has a deep need to overshadow that child. Therefore, it is believed that they are truly that child. This deep connection seems to indicate the valid idea of reincarnation. When individuals engage in what is called past life regressions, they too feel that they have made contact with another life and other experiences, which have played out in other times in history. Yet, through this process, which is essentially hypnosis, the opening of the individual to influences of spirits is accomplished quite readily. Often, in this experience, they believe that these spirits' influences are indeed themselves. In what that spirit has to share to the individual, they believe that they have indeed experienced these things and know these things from first-hand life experiences. Indeed, there is a repository within the astral plane of the Akashic records, which is a form of recording of every event, thought, experience of every individual who has ever lived upon your world. It is possible for the individual to tune in and absorb some element of this recording, which may be indeed very detailed and feel very real to that individual, but is in fact a mere replica of that experience stored away within this layer of what might be called psychic consciousness. It is understandable that those individuals who experience these things and are taught these things have a deep belief in them. That indeed reincarnation is real and a viable explanation for life upon this earth. But in truth, life upon this earth has one very important goal, and that is to establish identity for the individuated soul so that it may continue to progress in its own self-individuation, not only on the earth plane, but through many planes of spirit. For those who are redeemed with the divine love of God, they will also in time continue on into the many planes of the celestial spheres. Whether the individual may exist upon this earth for a brief moment or for 100 years of life, that goal has been accomplished, and life continues on within these spheres of experience, which are complex and detailed and full of many potentials and possibilities. It is unfortunate that there are some spirits who have waited many, many years to be reincarnated upon the earth plane in order to fulfill its goal for spiritual awakening. For many, it has brought about a great stagnation of their growth, for they do not believe or aspire towards the continuation of their spiritual progress in these spheres. Rather, they see their existence in the spirit world as something that has within it a kind of neutrality and lacks the potential to bring spiritual growth to the individual. So these individuals preclude any further experiences and do not wish to explore the potentials of these spheres, which are often of a lower plane and quite earthly in their condition. There are many such spirits who are stuck within these conditions, and they often gather together and support one another in their beliefs. As the law of attraction brings them together because of thoughts of a similar nature and common aspirations, they are drawn to one another and their beliefs become reinforced and more powerful within them. For some, they come and influence some within the earth plane in a desire to convince them that the doctrine of reincarnation is real and a potent force within their lives and within all of humanity. The world of spirit is a very diverse place, so that these thoughts and conditions exist readily within it. Indeed, many delusions exist within the lower spheres of the planes of spirit, those that are close to the earth plane. So much error ensues as a result of this reinforced loop of thought and expression, which continues to plague humanity with much error and darkness and great misunderstanding. So I come to reinforce the truth that the doctrine of reincarnation does not exist in reality but merely within the minds of those individuals who have a deep belief of it. Yet I know not of any individual in the spirit planes who have reincarnated, no matter what station or level of progression they have accomplished. They have not demonstrated the truth of reincarnation, but merely are deeply committed to this belief and continue to harbor a deep desire to return to earth in the flesh. God provides for His children great opportunities for progression and light. These opportunities exist within the planes of spirit, as well as upon the earth plane. God will not alter His great structure that has been put in place for the progress of all souls that have been incarnated into the material world. There are no beliefs or exercise of will within humankind that can alter these laws no matter what level of progression that they have attained. Certain laws are immutable and cannot be changed by the will of man. I urge all spirits and mortals to seek out their own soul's progression towards light, that the great power of the transformation of the soul through receiving God's love brings greater truth and greater liberation from all conditions and darkness, which the individual may have accumulated in their life, both upon the material plane and the spirit planes. This is the highest doctrine and blessing given to humanity. Its simple truth is potent beyond all reckoning and mindful consideration, for within this truth is the gift of God's essence given to the individual so that they may be transformed and healed by it, so that they may reflect and express certain attributes of God within them, attained by this accumulation of the soulful essence of God. In comparison to the doctrine of reincarnation, this simple truth and journey is far less complex and difficult. With one spiritual journey towards light and at-one-ment with God may be accomplished in this way through prayer, and receiving the essence of God makes the difficult and painful journey of reincarnation very unpalatable indeed. I would urge all souls to consider this truth, even if their beliefs in reincarnation are strong, that they may open their minds and their souls to something that is an alternate to these beliefs, something that is indeed real, powerful, and effective in assisting one upon the journey towards light and truth. There is nothing to be gained by a closed mind, yet everything to be gained by testing this truth and seeing for oneself its veracity and potency. There is so much upon earth and heaven, all that in between, that humanity does not know or recognize in a clear way. It is important for each individual to seek out clarity and truth, and to do so not just from the mind but from the faculties of the soul awakened, so that they may truly see for themselves the truth of God's creation. All that is put into place for the benefit of humanity so that they may grow and seek greater light and harmony. There is much in the world yet to be discovered upon one's spiritual journey. May you find your way upon a true path, a path that leads toward swift and sure enlightenment, a path that releases the shackles of the expectations, judgments, and error of the human condition and brings one to the purity of truth, the wonderment of love, the joy that comes with knowing one's Creator. These things are readily available to all souls provided they are open and willing to explore those avenues which God has created for them. May the world come to greater truth, greater light, peace, and joy, that love may reign supreme in your world and in all worlds, for this is what is meant to be. God's intention is that all will come to the truth. No matter what avenues are taken, what choices that they may make upon their spiritual path, that indeed in time, truth will reveal itself. Deep truth comes with deep reconciliation of the mind and the soul in harmony together, walking a path of light and truth. May you find your way, beloved souls. May you come to know God, who is all love and forgiveness and healing and peace and truth. This is what is meant for all, to attune oneself to God and receive the great blessings that come with this. The doors are open to this journey of truth. May you be awakened and know the true journey that is what God has provided for His children upon this earth and in the realms of spirit. God bless you, beloved souls. I am Jesus, and I come once again to teach, to bring truth to humanity. God bless you, beloveds. My love is with you. God bless you.